Actually, let me bring y'all down. Yeah, let me bring it down so it looks like, so y'all can see me sitting crisscross applesauce. Yes. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to or welcome back to Ananda's Inner Monologue. Um, I want to start this video off with a disclaimer slash trigger warning. The topics I will be discussing today are heavy, and depending where you're at in your grieving journey, I would just like to not deter you, but I do not want to trigger you in a way where your heart isn't receptive to hear the topics that have impacted you. And what I want to leave you with, if you do decide to click off this video, is that anything that has happened to you, any form of abuse, is not your fault. It has never been your fault. No matter what you wear, where you were, who you were with, if you were intoxicated or not, it's never your fault, honey. I know society tells you otherwise, but that's because the title of this video is Conditioned to Abuse. Society wants us conditioned to abuse. And we need rehabilitation in ways and in multiple formats. Mental health, trauma, injury, life post-COVID, life during COVID, because COVID is still actively happening. So life post-quarantine, rather. We need rehabilitation. Unlearning ableism. Before I dive into the video, I made that disclaimer and also worded it the way I did because the way that we view grief, the stages of grief, is very valid, very real, but the way we view grief really does matter. A lot of people are not respectful of grief. I want to just leave you with a message that I wrote. It was December 10th, 2024, and I wrote this message at 12:12 a.m. Leave grieving people alone. Asking someone how their loved one died, or how they broke up, or how they've become homeless is odd. Curiosity exists amongst our community. It just manifests as messiness and gossip. Gossip is necessary and something we're taught early on. Curiosity and humility doesn't exist in a human rights way though. So I'm gonna do another video on this, but legality and also societal norms doesn't justify and doesn't dictate what is human rights and what is human violation. Because I would like everyone to keep in mind that it needs to be a law to state that Black people are people. It needs to be a law to state that we can vote. It needs to be only Black men can vote. It needs to be a law to state that we need to be freed from slavery, and slavery is still happening. So are we really free? It needs to be a law that as a woman I can vote. It needs to be a law that, it needs to be a law that you cannot lynch people. You cannot lynch people. I'm gonna do another video on that. I just wanted to preference this video, which is gonna be titled Conditioned to Abuse. Conditioned to Abuse. Everyone grab your notes, grab your pen, grab your paper. I have no pen today because all the thoughts are on here. So let's get started. Alrighty. Conditioned to abuse. Justification with their role in your life. Blood relation shouldn't exclude those from being removed. There we go. Okay, I never ever respect the phrase, you need to change, your uncle's coming over. You need to put a bra on, such and such is coming over. You need to... I'm not a mother yet. Not a mother yet. But when I'm destined to be one, when I've been chosen to be one, I truly believe that I'm going to have biological kids, and I also believe that I'm going to adopt and foster. Probably both. With that being said, my babies will not have someone entering their home that is looking at them inappropriately. I do not agree with enabling abusers, and I do not agree with enabling misogyny and pedophilia. I do not agree with enabling people to feel comfortable with conforming to abuse, right? So when you teach our girls, when you tell our black girls specifically that they're too grown because they have curves, because they have shape, when you tell them to change because a male person is coming over the home, you are conditioning them to abuse. No one should be entering their home where the girls cannot walk around in their shorts and with no bra. I'm very anti-bra. Free the titty, protect the city. I wear a face mask, but I will not wear a bra. That is my business. And I received a lecture on this like a couple months ago, saying that I should be wearing a bra around my male cousins. My family doesn't. No one should. Men's lack of control and lack of discipline and lack of emotional regulation stems from the household. And it matriculates into every other aspect of their life. Parenting styles, traditional parenting styles, right? I don't believe gentle parenting should be categorized as anything. I think gentle parenting should be the default. But other parenting styles give boys the bare minimum and tell them to not express themselves. This is why you have boys punching holes in walls and punching holes in doors and punching women in the face because they reject them. This is why a lot of people, the music scene that I'm near has a lot of abusers in them. And I just want to, I don't want to give y'all too much attention, too much time, but I'm just going to say it's not coincidence. It's not. Men often befriend other men simply because y'all are men and have the same genitalia. It's very minimal. It's very basic. You don't even know your best friend's favorite color, birthday, last name, and how many kids they have. You don't even know they have kids or a wife. Just not involved at all with yourself and with your male friendships, right? And men respect other men. Y'all do things for men validation. Patriarchy is really upholded. really emphasized, okay? Put on a different type of pedestal when it comes to men being around other men. To me, that's fragile. That's fragile. You need another man's validation. I don't y'all know the TikTok sound? I don't do nothing for male validation. I don't do nothing for the male gaze. Everything I do is for them. I can't curse, but y'all know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Everything I do is for the queens. For the queens. Anywho's, men befriend men for being men. And their standard is non-existent. Because they never come home to themselves. They never get to know their core. So these connections that they're building are always superficial. And this is why I dislike the argument like the male loneliness epidemic is because of women. Who upholds the standards? Who are the main people in authoritative positions and decide that they want to keep reinforcing patriarchy, misogyny, and capitalism, and the pay gap. The pay gap is very real. As a black woman, okay, I can do the whole breakdown, but I believe my demographic I don't know, actually. I really don't know. I need to check the insights, but I think my demographic is mostly black, so I'm always going to speak from what I know from my knowledge, but I can put a chart if other ethnicities want to know what their lifetime pay gap difference is. But as a black woman, we make $800,000 less. than a white man in our lifetime. And the life expectancy rate is declining. And black women are 3 times more likely to die during childbirth. And I feel like I repeat the same facts and sometimes same quotes and points in my videos, but they all intertwine. So if I bring it back up, just know it's something of importance. I'm bringing it up for a reason. Okay, where am I at? 10 minutes. Okay, good. I'm bringing it up for a reason. But anyways, back to the you gotta change your clothes topic. Conservative views doesn't protect you. Close proximity to whiteness doesn't protect you. Upholding patriarchy doesn't protect you from abuse. And basically telling us that we're the problem rather than the actual problem. Telling us we're the problem instead of talking to the actual problem and course correcting it is going to just keep us in this vicious cycle of abuse. Blood relation should not be the reason why you keep pedophiles around your kids. And no, we will not be playing R. Kelly at the cookouts with me. As the new adult, like, I love this. I love telling people my standards of love and my standards, period. We will not be playing R. Kelly at the cookout, and nobody's gonna ever be invited to my home if my babies cannot wear what they were wearing from the jump. Y'all try to justify pedophilia and abuse and assault and molestation and rape because of family. A lot of cases, I believe that the statistic is that majority of people's family members take them, violate their consent because of close proximity, and also you trust them because you think they're family. Not everyone has a good heart. Not everyone is a good person. Not everyone is kind and thoughtful and considerate, and not everyone has the best interest for kids or disabled people or women, specifically black women. Just gonna leave it there. Next point. So the TAP. The TAP exists to out abusers. That is the main objective of the TAP, and y'all made it a dating app. Shift of objective made it to a dating app. And also promoting victim blaming, and also the data leak. All goes back to ableism. Let's talk about it. I am furious. I'm furious, and I'm highly disappointed in a lot of women and a lot of people who made the TAP a dating app. That is not what that was. That's not what that was. I don't have nothing nice to say. That's the calmest way I can say that. So we're gonna talk about how this ties into ableism. So disability theory has 3 models: charity, medical. Sorry, y'all, I'm not trying to flick y'all off. Hold on. Let me flip that around. Charity, medical, societal, right? Okay. Charity disability models place disabled persons in churches. Now, religion people believe that you can pray disease and disability away, which is also a form of ableism. Imagine being disabled. Imagine having crutches and someone comes over and prays that you're cured of your ailment and you live with this your whole life. I was just telling you that you should feel bad for something you cannot control and something that is not a burden. Disabled people, we just ask for accommodations. That's it. That's all. Nothing. Well, I mean, stop saying the R slur as well. Accommodations, and stop saying the R slur. It's offensive, and there's a billion words. Everyone, please stop saying the R slur. And if you say it around me, I'm gonna say you owe me $1. I'm gonna start charging you people. I'm gonna start fining you people. Stop saying the R slur. It's a slur. It's a slur. There's a billion words to describe someone's emotional capacity. If you really want to. Imbecile. Incompetent. Absurd. If you need something basic, I'm trying to like stray away from crazy and insane, because that's, and like moron, stuff like that. I do apologize that if that does offend someone. I just want to say those terms so you know that those are also the spectrum and building blocks to saying the R slur. So stop saying the words. Find different words, expand your vocabulary. Go read a book. Go read a dictionary. Anywho's. Ableism, okay. Disability theory, yes. So the charity model basically gave disabled persons to the church. They believed that you could pray it away to make you feel bad. They hid them. They hid them. And then once the churches no longer had it, I believe, I want to say the churches probably gave up the care of disabled persons once the state and church became separate. But I could be so wrong, but that's just an assumption. I'm going to do more research into that. But we don't have time for that today, y'all. I got to start wrapping up my thoughts. I got like 10 minutes to talk about everything I want to talk about. So bear with me, please. So after church didn't work, asylums, mental asylums. And the thing with mental asylums in America versus Europe, Europe actually trained the mental asylum nurses specifically for psychiatric and dealing with the brain and how to actually handle them. Now with America, they just took general hospital nurses and planted them into the mental asylums, and also got volunteers to manhandle them. So now you're hidden from society and also enduring abusive behaviors because they want us to be conditioned with abuse. Y'all see how it all ties back in? And when you say the R slur, you're upholding ableism. You're upholding the very thing that is going to kill you. I hate to put it that way, but so then medicine comes out, right? Then like science is developing and medicine is developing, and then you have like the medical model, and everyone believes that, oh, you could just cure mental illness away with chemicals and with medication. And what that really means, just numb the person out, stop their brain receptors from transmuting certain things, become a zombie. So if you don't become a zombie, something is wrong with you. So they probably perform a lobotomy, or just keep you hidden away from society forever. Still hidden. And then now we have the integration of disabled persons, because we're in a mass disabling event. That's what COVID is. And now you can only be blind or deaf or hard of hearing. That's it. If you have like any other like disability, you have to be hidden still, basically. That's what we're telling. This is what we're saying, everyone. And I didn't even know I was disabled until I took the disability theory course. Then I realized I too was disabled. And I don't get no benefits, no accommodations. Just, I had to figure it out by myself. And I'm minimized. Every time I say that, someone's like, that's not true. That's not possible. Why are my friends experiencing strokes? We're not under the age of 25, by the way, everyone. That doesn't happen. It's because of COVID. Long COVID is acknowledged everywhere in the world, but here it's so taboo. This is what I mean with societal things. This is just sociology. Human behavior changes as time changes, as supply and demand changes, as topics that are relevant changes. But abuse will forever will forever be integrated into our society if we don't do something about it and if we don't talk about it. Abusers oftentimes isolate their victims. So if you have a friend who's been in a relationship and she's recently distant and can't come out and see you no more, yeah, abusers typically isolate. I'm not saying that you're friends with the abuser, but healthy relationships and healthy connections won't isolate you. You won't cut off your people unless they're bad people, unless they're abusers themselves. And I promise you, 90% of us are gonna say our family are abusers. Something sparked this video. Something sparked this video in my family personally, and I'm not gonna say what it was, but what I will say is 90% of us got abusers in our families. If you talk to the pedophiles and the rapists and the serial killers, just because they're your family, you a nasty person. You right with them. And just because you ain't do it don't mean you're not wrong. Anywho's, abusers typically isolate their victims. The T app can connect us globally. Acknowledge a victim of abuse. Acknowledges a victim of abuse. And my apologies for someone on that. But abusers will isolate. The T app brings you together globally, or even if it is just North America, but it connects people from different parts of the country, and that also brings victims together, and that also allow victims to hold their abusers accountable. They don't like that. They do not like that. And I really dislike that. And the thing with abuse and trauma that makes it difficult to break out the cycle. Your perspective of normal is actually abnormal, but you cannot see that because you're constantly enduring it. You've been constantly enduring it your whole life, probably, if I had to assume. The amount of times that I've been sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, catcalled, minimized, patronized, belittled, all the above, all the forms of abuse, mental, verbal, physical, all forms of abuse I've endured. And I never even think of it like that. I never worded it like that until now. But I just want to put in perspective. I'm not that old. I've only been alive for a little over 2 decades at this point. That's not old. And I hate to put my age or my age group out there, but I'm pretty sure you can assume I'm 20 something, but that's not a long time on this earth. And I've already endured several experiences, negative experience with patriarchy, with misogyny, with racism, with abuse, homophobia, with abuse. Self-sabotaging. For those who cannot see how much they contribute to their own suffering, and Stockholm Syndrome. Victims of abuse oftentimes empathize with their abuser because you believe this is love. And this is why they isolate you, so you can stay in that cycle of abuse. Because as your friend and as someone who loved you, the standard is up to here for us. The standard for abusers is 6 feet under. Oh, perfect. Legality and morality. Legality does not equate to morality. Child rights being taken. Persons from the ages of 5 to 24. Suicide is one of the highest causes of death. Human trafficking is one of the richest industries in the world. How many children go missing annually? The age of consent being different. The child labor laws varying. Examples of not protecting the most vulnerable groups. I really should have checked in with myself to see if I was ready to do this video, because I'm just I'm in disbelief. Why do I have to keep bringing out statistics for victims of abuse for us to be finally heard and finally respected? I have to keep pulling out facts and percentages. Why? We don't do this for white supremacy. We don't do this for capitalistic views. We don't do this for misogyny. We don't do this for racism. You don't ask the why you uphold these things. We don't ask the why for colorism. We don't ask the why for the division in the black diaspora. But we ask victims of abuse why they've been abused. We ask them to legitimize their abuse. And even when they do, and even when they're public about it, even when they talk about it and put it front, center page in the magazine, newspaper, social media, whatever, it's still not acknowledged. It just bothers me that there isn't the sanctions, what I just said. It bothers me that people don't see the kids of the world and understand that they are the future. Not only are they the future, but I don't understand how you cannot look at a child and just feel like that's your child. Like, when I see children in public, I'm always looking in their surrounding area for their parent, guardian, someone with them, family, period. And I'm always going to make sure that they're okay. Not only from themselves, but from others. Most importantly, others. I was working at the beauty supply store. And I'm not too sure if I shared this story before. I feel like I have. But you're going to hear it again. I was working at the beauty supply store, and his mom was her kids were walking behind her. First red flag to me. If I have babies I have children, period. You're walking beside me or in front of me. I can't. Anywho. So the mother is in front, and she has her 5-year-old son and about 3-4-year-old daughter. The son is trying to give his sister a piggyback ride. So he successfully does that. The sister wants to then get down after they successfully done the mission. So she decides to go back on his back, like such. And I am walking behind them, and I go, and I pull baby girl up, because I do not want baby girl to hit her head on the wall, or on the floor rather, and get a concussion. So I help baby girl up. The mama said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." No, do not apologize to me. Apologize to baby girl. Because you did not prioritize her well-being, and she should have been in front of you at all times. And that is just like, no judgment to the mom, because she could have been in go mode. I understand, I hear you, but I will say not everyone is like me. Not everyone views the children as their children. I view the children as my children. If they're in my presence, they're going to be taken care of as best as possible. My nieces don't like being picked up and held and touched and cuddled, but they sure do love me. They sure do love me. They was cuddling and we was coloring together and hugging, and they don't like physical touch, but with me, they feel safe enough to do it and to receive it. That's just one example, and I'm not saying just because a child is comfortable with someone that person has good intentions, but a lot of times there is a pattern when children and animals and insects even feel safe with you and with who you are as a person, they will always be in close proximity to you. And when they are in close proximity, they'll either do something they don't normally do, which is be affectionate and or be close proximity to you. Even if they don't like people, they still show who has a good heart, who has a good soul, who is made up of goodness and kindness and consideration. But also, with that being said, kids don't have that fear factor. Really, you have to instill that. You have to tell them the truth of this world and the harshness of it. And with that being said, People from the ages of 5 to 24, and suicide being one of the highest causes of death, will never ever sit right with me because it's a prime example that we aren't prioritizing the children. We're not. We're not. As a 12-year-old, I had to stop my friends, or I had to comfort my friends in a way that they would not want to take their own life. And I had to comfort myself in a way so I did not feel that way myself. I felt like I had that responsibility on my shoulder because any other problem I would bring to my family was ignored and was minimized. My family don't take the time to get to know me as a person. So you will never know these experiences because I will never ever be respected the way you respect the elders. I don't want to be near my deathbed or on my deathbed to be respected. I don't, and I won't. And if people don't respect me now in this version I'm in now, in the age I'm at now, that's your business. I've been disrespected and abused most of my life. I pick and choose my environments, my connection, and what makes me feel safe. And if I feel unsafe, I'm leaving. I'm removing myself. But that takes a lot of willpower, and that took. This is more recent. This is just because I'm an adult, and I finally have more of a say over my autonomy, consent, and free will. When I've always had a say. I've always had to say, you've always had to say. And that's, you've always had to say since you were born. That is your birthright. Human trafficking being one of the richest industries in the world. And it made me wonder how many children go missing annually. So what we're going to do is search that up right now. Right now. And we use Scotia, everyone. We're moving away from Google and we're moving to a Scotia. A Scotia plants trees with each search. So it's healing the environment, restoring our ecosystem, restoring our planet, reversing climate change. Hello. And I'm just going to search up the US alone. Oh my goodness. Approximately 460,000 children are reported missing each year in the United States. And this is probably this is underestimated, mind you, everyone. 600,000 from the US Department of Justice. 600,000 kids. Are we not? When does it stop? When do we prioritize our babies? They don't want to be here. They think they're not important, they don't matter. And the way y'all treating them, for all the parents that have kids now and give your kid an iPad every time they cry and show any sign of discomfort and boredom, what? We are all children. We were all children at some point. We will all become disabled at some point. And I keep emphasizing duality. I keep emphasizing the opposition so you understand the extent of this. Chronological age and functional age is something I learned in sociology. And I love sociology so much I almost made it my major. I was this close. Shout out Professor Drew. Best professor I've ever had. Seriously. I was this close to changing my major. Anyways, with that being said, chronological age is the age you're born as. Your birth age, right? And then functional age is the age you actually act. The age you are mentally, emotionally, right? And a lot of times people's functional age is not aligned with their chronological age because trauma stunts you. Trauma stunts you. So whatever traumatic event you had, which we're all victims of abuse, whichever traumatic event you had, it'll probably stunt you if you do not work through that trauma, if you do not work through that grief, if you do not heal, if you do not talk about it, if you do not work it out, sweat it out, cry it out, then you repeat the cycle of abuse. The age of consent being different at each stage is why. Why is child marriage a thing? Why is child mutilation a thing? Trauma is stored in the body, and decades worth of a dysregulated nervous system isn't going to move itself. Listen, we're on this journey together, everyone. We're on this journey together. This is our planet, our home. We are all God's children. And I don't mean to be religious, but I do believe we are all intertwined. We are having such a imbalance in our life and with our society and with our planet because we are not united. We are all victims of abuse. We were all children at some point. We will all become disabled at some point. We need to unlearn ableism, relearn kindness, consideration, human rights. Unlearn abuse, relearn emotional intelligence, regulation, and work on a regulated nervous system. How do I do that personally? I listen to jazz music every day. And if you need to ease your way into some jazz, I suggest metal, rock, then gospel, then jazz. Take cold showers. Slow down when you do things. Take a deep breath before you think of doing anything impulsive. Drink cold water when you are anxious. Rub your chest when you are hyperventilating and take a deep breath while doing so. Journal. Go to therapy. Do shadow work. Let me show you the shadow work journal I actually have. It's right here. Ooh, yeah. Whole. Please get this. Please invest into this. Please end the cycle of abuse, everyone. I seriously hope that this video not only educated you, but made you more aware about what's happening in our world and made you want to do better. If you are a person who has privilege, men, white, any ethnicity other than black, if you have privilege, please use your privilege, use your platform, use your voice, and end the cycles of abuse. If you see abuse, call it out. Intervene. Because sometimes people cannot see their own sabotage, and sometimes people cannot see the ways they are causing harm to themselves and to others. Just be mindful, be considerate, be safe. Think about things intentionally, and think about the way it makes you feel before and after. I love you so, so much. I know this video was real heavy, and I know you can hear my anger because it's just like, why am I using statistics to explain abuse? Why do I have to keep using statistics to be believed? But I will keep doing statistics, keep doing my research. I will continue to keep spreading awareness and keep using my platform. And I will continue to spread love and light and be that for every living thing on this planet, including myself. I love you so, so much. Have a great day.